How do I overcome the challenges that come from not just, again, having a green streak, but then, of course, experiencing red days, right? Red days are part of the process, and I wanted to share with you 3 tips. And this video is inspired by one of my followers on Instagram. His name is Armando. He's currently going through a trading rut, so I thought that I would take some time and break this down for you guys. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Again, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, it's going to be the third link in the description down below. I am verified on Instagram. All of the other ones are fake that pretend to be me asking you for money. I will never ask you for money. I will never message you first. Please understand that. Again, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So one of the first things that I want to talk about is, well, I want to show you. I'm up $35,492.21. On TQQQ, I made 23.4K. And then on SQQQ, I made a little bit over 11K, right? I have some open positions. SQ and TQs are not them, but those are the ones that just carry overnight, and that's what makes up the difference. But as you can see, I closed out my position. I left myself with one lucky share on SQQQ. And on TQQQ, I left myself with that one lucky share as well. So, yeah, it's very easy for me to talk about, oh yeah, all high and mighty, right? Because of the overall day went very well. But obviously, not every day is like this. And one of the, I wanted to share 3 things with you, right? The first thing that I want to talk about is the way that I view trading is that your success almost comes like seasons. I think that's the best way that I could explain it. You have your seasons or your sessions, or your periods of time that you work really well with the market. Your specific trading style works really well with current market conditions. You have to understand current market conditions now are very different than what they were 2 to 3 years ago, right? As of right now, we have a really big focus on monetary policy. We're trying to fight inflation. The Federal Reserve is still raising interest rates, and there's uncertainty if they're being too aggressive, and inflation is also going back up. 3-4 years ago, it wasn't that much of a focus, right? We originally were dealing with COVID and everything that came with that. It was kind of like the stepping stones of what got us to this point. So the thing that you must understand is during bull markets, during bear markets, during choppy markets, every trading style is going to react differently. And it's not that you completely have to change your trading style unless you technically want to. But one of the first things that I like to remind myself is anytime that I see myself not working well with the market, for whatever the reason might be, it might be very bearish and I want to go long. My markets might be very choppy and I'm forcing a couple of trades. I experience all of this. And I think that's the mistake that a lot of beginners make, is that they think that you just make these mistakes in the beginning. But at least for me, and I can only speak from my experience, these challenges are something that I'm presented with every single day, on a weekly, on a monthly basis, years after I learned how to trade, right? So the challenges that you're going through of learning the importance of risk management, of position size, of being too greedy and not locking in your profits, going from a green trade to a red trade, if you think that with time, that you're never going to make those mistakes again, at least in my experience, that's definitely not the case. You still make those mistakes, but you are constantly reminded of the importance of why not to aim to be perfect, because you'll never be perfect, but to work on implementing progress. And that's the big difference, right? Is that if you do make those mistakes, my first step that I like to do is, if I'm going through a trading rut, is I like to size down. I trade with $500,000. Obviously, I hope that if you're just getting started, your account size is much smaller than mine, right? Because when you make mistakes in this market, these mistakes cost money, right? So taking that into consideration, I want to make sure that I don't dig myself into a deeper hole. If I see that I'm struggling, remove your ego, right? Don't be afraid to downsize. It's not about making your money back. It's about gaining your confidence back and proving it to yourself that you can work well with current market conditions. And that would be the first and main step. After you begin to size down, if you still see that you're not working too well, then again, maybe focusing and being a little bit more selective with your criteria, focusing more on quality trades, right? Making sure that all your criteria is met, as everyone sees value in different ways, but making sure that you are not over trading. You could still over trade with, again, sizing down. So again, making sure that you focus on those quality trades. And one of the last things that, again, is super simple, and I can reassure you, it's not something that you're just struggling with right now. It's something that everyone struggles with even years after. Making money in this market is the easy part. Learning to keep it is the hard part, right? This is why when it comes down to LPP 2.0, we have a whole section in that lesson library that solely focuses on risk management. My job is to try to build a foundation, a good foundation for someone that's just getting started in the do's and the don'ts. And the don'ts that not enough people talk about is risk management, right? Learning how to not avoid risk, but learning how to manage it, right? How many times have you had 1 week, 2 weeks of a strong rally, right? You're working really well with the market, but if you have no risk management, just take a minute and think about it. Let's say that you're up 10 or 20%. You're up $1,000, maybe $2,000. It literally takes one bad trade with no risk management to give it all back. And I've experienced that. And it's not just that I experienced that, 5 years ago, a couple years ago. I still experience that and I still struggle with it from time to time. Risk management is a very challenging habit to instill in you. And as you get more confident, yes, it does get maybe a little bit easier as time goes on, but it will always be a challenge, right? We are not wired to take losses. I come from a 9-to-5 background myself. I worked in telecommunication sales, and if I worked a certain amount of hours, I earned a direct output of pay. The stock market is different. You can invest a whole week, 40 hours. I guess not 40, right? But you can invest 30 hours. Nonetheless, it doesn't yield you any return. You could still lose money after that week. You can still lose money after a full month of trading. But this is why it's so important, is that if you are really trying to be not the statistic of the people that lose money, then do what most people don't. The making money part comes with time. Learn to keep it. Learn to size down. Learn to manage your position size. Learn to manage your risk. Learn to take profits. Learn to be selective when conditions and criteria are not favorable, right? These are all things that everyone struggles with, not yearly, not when they just got started, not just monthly, but weekly and daily. And it's good to talk about it because I want you to know that as you're just getting started, these challenges are not just going to magically disappear. They do get easier with time, but just like anything, there are still things that you are presented with daily as a day trader that you will have to learn how to overcome. Your discipline and, again, your ability to overcome these challenges will really be the determining factor if you end up actually experiencing success, right? The stock market is a horrible market to find out that you have an ego problem. So let's not make it that, right? Let's focus on not being perfect, but let's focus on implementing progress. Little progress over a long period of time can end up with a very, very good end result. And I'm very excited for you. So just wanted to share my thoughts with you on how, if I'm going through a trading rut, I would overcome that. Really do appreciate you guys' time. I hope that I earned your thumbs up. Again, I do trade live every single morning right at market open. I would love to invite you. It's the second link in the description down below. It is a one-time payment, lifetime access. It's our biggest discount and I offer nothing else. So if you want to work with me, if you like the way that I break things down and you want access to these sessions, then this is the only team that I work with, and that is the LPP 2.0 team. So again, if you have any questions, shoot me a direct message either via Instagram or via Discord, and that's the first or third link in the description down below. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.